Hello guys and welcome to VoloKin Project. It's your favorite YouTuber Tony here. So apparently I decided to give BlackBerry another chance because when it comes down to the old BlackBerry OS, as you can see, I've got the proper security phones over here. I'm saying security because this system was pretty much unhackable. And it's not a coincidence that most of the financial guys at KPMG and Goldman Sachs are still, are still using those phones. However, when BlackBerry decided to switch to Android, things changed. They say they've got the most secure phone over here, the BlackBerry Evolve, which is another crap. Pretty much they've got one security application installed and pretty much that's it. But Android is absolutely hackable and everybody can access your information. However, if you go to the XDA developers, there is absolutely no development for this phone whatsoever because there is no root for it and the bootloader is locked. So quickly, what was the BlackBerry Evolve anyway? A few months ago I never really heard of the existence of this phone simply because it was released in the US and in India by the Chinese TCL, who bought pretty much BlackBerry a few years ago, and they've been doing the Alcatel phones as well as the BlackBerries. So I had a key one back in the day and I was thinking, like, because the phone was kind of half-baked a little bit, then the key 2 was the same phone but uglier. So I was like, okay, let me get a proper, you know, full screen BlackBerry phone and see how it is, simply because now at the end of 2020 you can get one from the US. Make sure you get the unlocked version for about 120-130 quid brand new, which is a fantastic price considering that, you know, BlackBerries historically have always been overpriced anyways. And when it comes down to design and build quality, this phone does not disappoint, guys. You've got the classic BlackBerry logo over here. The back cover is made of some kind of a rubber, which means that you don't actually need a case for this phone, because with most of my phones I'm using cases nowadays. It's just the way it is. They're super cheap anyways. But yeah, in terms of accessories there is not much, but you don't need much either, so that's absolutely fine. The design, I absolutely love it. I mean, the screen, you can see that it's a fingerprint magnet, but yeah, that's a cliche already, but let me just give it a good wipe. Yeah, so yeah, the display is clean now. I absolutely love the design, guys. The BlackBerry logo over here at the bottom. We've got front-facing flash, by the way, worth noting. High megapixel 16 megapixel front camera and dual camera at the back, one black and white and one 30 megapixel one. A little bit on the camera. Actually, you know what I'm gonna say about the cameras in the beginning of this review? They're absolutely rubbish, to be honest with you guys. The front camera is a little bit better, but there is absolutely no sense of HDR whatsoever, so take photos only on sunny days, unlike me. 1080p video, absolutely no stabilization whatsoever, and again front-facing flash, which is good. The image quality is not very good, but let's say barely acceptable. At the back though, the situation is absolutely terrible. Of course, the auto HDR doesn't work, and if you switch the HDR on by yourself, the result is just overdone, and that's probably one of the worst 13 megapixel cameras I have ever seen in my life. And the black and white camera does absolutely nothing over here, so it's like pretty bad. The result is pretty bad. Again, no stabilization in the video as well, so I really have no idea what they're doing over here. Now, in terms of security, you've got the fingerprint square one at the back with a matte finish. It's a little bit higher than I wish, because when you take the phone like that, you can see where my thumb is, but it works fine. It works, you know, 100% of the time. It's not the quickest one out there, but it definitely works fine and is very reliable. You've got face unlock as well, guys, which works just as intended, which is absolutely fine. Unfortunately, you know, I was thinking that because TCL knows how to do excellent speakers in the Alcatel phones, I've got a bunch of them over here. By the way, make sure you watch my unboxing where I compared it with a few Alcatel phones. Just you know, the first impressions are very different from the review, so make sure you check this video out. And I was thinking, okay, Alcatel can do stereo speakers, so probably they've done a brilliant stereo speaker. So here, well, no, you've got one bottom firing speaker, which is bad. It is really bad speaker. Guys, you've got a 3.5mm jack, which is surprisingly nice. Actually, I really didn't expect that. Which is good. It's placed at the top over here, but overall, yeah, the power button is at the correct position, is reached as well. The volume rockers are over here. The design, I've got really no problem with the design. I actually love it. It's really nice, you know, shade of black, if I can, if there is such an expression. Anyways, and yeah, so far so good. I mean, there are a few good things about it, there are a few bad things about it. And speaking about bad things about it, let's talk about the software. Android 8 security patch November 2018, guys. The phone came out in 2018, got one quick update for bug fixes, and pretty much that's it, which is absolutely unacceptable in this day and age. It looks outdated. I mean, Android 8 is mostly black and white. It's stock Android. You've got a bunch of, you know, BlackBerry security stuff application, which is fine, but no dark mode, no gestures. You can't swipe all of the navigation buttons. So it's like, it feels like 2015 phone, pretty much, software-wise. And the other thing is that I popped my SIM card out because I put it in another phone. I've charged the phone 100%. I was thinking about filming the review. I woke up, the phone was like at 73%. And I was like, wait a minute, no SIM card, no internet, 73% with 3 minutes of screen on time? I mean, come on guys, there's something in this software which prevents this phone from having a great battery life, because the battery is 4000 milliamp hours inside. About the recharge times, half an hour 30%, 1 hour 60%, and full charge 2 hours 25 minutes, which is way too long, but apparently no quick charge for you. And you might think, okay, we've got a 1080p screen. By the way, the 1080p screen is a 6-inch screen. It's really nice, it's really bright. You've got a temperature control. It's a brilliant screen, guys. I've got absolutely no complaints about the screen. So 1080p screen, 4000 milliamp hours of battery, and you think the battery life is going to be great. Well, no. Battery life is between 5 and 6 hours of screen on time. I was expecting, I don't want to say double that, but at least 8 hours of screen on time, guys. And I'm getting 5. And it's like, what's the point of having a big battery in a heavy phone, pretty much, if it doesn't last as long? Well, because you don't have, you know, a proper Android update. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm not usually one of those guys who's always complaining about Android updates, but if there are bugs to be fixed, then they have to be fixed, if that makes sense. And you know, having no updates whatsoever, no XDA development as well, you're stuck with Android 8 forever, and you have to tolerate the bugs, which is absolutely unacceptable, guys. And finally, let's talk about performance, shall we? First of all, I'm constantly getting a message that the device is running on low memory, simply because 4 gigs of RAM is absolutely the bare minimum for a phone to function. But you know, you need definitely more than that. You need like 6 to have absolutely no issues. So the phone runs in full RAM all the time. I never really had any other phone popping up that message. Needless to say that you don't have any multitasking whatsoever. And now the main issue with this phone is the Snapdragon 450 chipset. I've never been a fan of the 4 series simply because they're only good for 720p screens, guys. And the thing is that the UI is kind of smooth, but once you go to simple applications like YouTube or even eBay, it lags badly. By the way, speaking about eBay, you cannot stretch the video for the whole screen because that's a 80:9 screen rather than 16:9. So again, one of the software issues over there. And yeah, the Snapdragon 450, laggy performance and terrible gaming, guys. On CastGo I'm getting 21 FPS, which is which is worse than the worst MTK processors out there. Pretty much is 2015 performance. or maybe 2013, actually that's 2013 performance. One thing that they did is you've got a settings per app basis, tweaking the resolution to 720p, and that helps quite a lot in gaming. For example, Angry Birds lacks in 1080p, but in 720p it runs very smooth, guys. And the Kazja score goes to 36 FPS, which in reality is like 70-72 FPS, which is fine for most games. However, playing Call of Duty is a no-go. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to play this game on this particular phone. And the phone doesn't really hit that much, but it's like, it's pretty bad, guys. The performance is really pretty bad. So couple that with the kind of average battery life, ah man, this phone is really not on my recommended list. But before I conclude this video, let's have a look at the VoloKin Spectrum scoring system, where I rated over 110 phones by the time I filmed that video. Now, first category is design and build quality, and I'm gonna give the BlackBerry Evolve. Can you imagine Evolve? It's pretty much devolved. But anyways, 5 out of 5. I really love the design, guys. For security, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5. The fingerprint read is a little bit too high, but it's good. You've got face unlock, you've got double tap as well, so no problems whatsoever. The screen is 1080p LCD, so naturally 3 out of 5. The speaker is pretty bad though, so I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5, and the headphone jack is amazing, actually 4 out of 5. The cameras are pretty bad. I'm gonna give the back camera just 1 out of 5 because it's one of the worst cameras I've seen, and the selfie camera is barely acceptable without stabilization, but I'm gonna give it a bonus point for the front facing flash, so 2 out of 5. For the performance, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 because it's not horrible, but it's definitely not very good. But at least you can do some gaming in 720p, which doesn't look good, but anyways. And the software, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5, and I'm a little bit generous over here simply because I like the stock Android experience, and I like this productivity tab, which I actually disabled over here simply because I don't use it. But it's like the Samsung, you know, Edge Sense or whatever it's called. It's an additional menu for some shortcuts. I don't use it, but some people might find it attractive. So how much is the overall VoloKin Spectrum score? Is 31 out of 60, guys, which places the phone at about 70th, 71st place on my table, which rivals pretty old phones and, you know, low-end devices from a few years ago. So that brings us to the conclusion of this video. Should you buy the BlackBerry Evolve in the future? And the simple answer is no. Simply because it acts like a 100-pound phone, and it kind of is. I mean, in the US, you know, third-party resellers on eBay are trying to get rid of the last units they've got pretty much. And yeah, unfortunately, I can't really recommend it for anybody. I don't find any particular, you know, group of people who you know, might benefit from something about this phone apart from the brilliant build quality. I don't see why you should buy this phone, to be honest with you. I really don't. I had really high hopes. I was very positive in my unboxing video. The first impressions are really good. I can imagine if you walk into a store and if you see the phone, you're gonna be like, oh man, that's a solid phone, I'm gonna get it. And after that comes the disappointment, guys. So I really don't know. BlackBerry haven't got a new model for like a year now. I really have no idea where TCL is going to invest anymore, but pretty much they don't have any sales at the moment. So yeah, for me personally, I'm thinking of getting the Priv or Prive or whatever his name is. Because although it's a little bit outdated already, it seems like the price is held up quite well. Even though it's second-hand market now, the device is quite old. Snapdragon 808, the battery life is going to be poor, the keyboard is a little bit flimsy, but most probably the Priv is the most complete, you know, BlackBerry Android phone over there. I'm planning to get one, as I said, to complete my collection of BlackBerry phones over here, guys. But yeah, this one is gonna go. Actually, it's already sold out. That's why I'm filming the video in like midnight. So yeah, I couldn't wait to get it, unbox it, and I couldn't wait to sell it, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's the state of BlackBerry, unfortunately. Guys, I really hope that they come up with some nice new model, but you know, the physical keyboard has to go, unless they do some kind of a, you know, slide out device like that. I would really love to see that, but let's see, let's wait and see. And in the meantime, just don't buy the Evolve. Pretty much that's it. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing us. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Adios.